Hello there. Thank you so much for joining us. This is News Channel Nebraska. My name's Eric McKay. Let's take a look at our top headlines today. Beginning in southeast Nebraska, where 7 people were injured in a shooting in Crete Friday night. Jake Bartecki has more from the scene.
6 victims are left hospitalized after a late Friday afternoon shooting in the Saline County town of Crete. Authorities say 3 adults and 3 children are hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries, and the suspected gunman was found dead in his house with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Authorities say they also found a shotgun inside the premises. Nebraska State Patrol Captain Sean Catadori says the initial call came in at 4:35 on Friday afternoon as many agencies responded to Crest Line Avenue in Crete.
Responders located multiple victims with apparent gunshot wounds. Officers also heard at least 1 additional gunshot coming from inside a home across the street from where the victims were located. In total, 6 victims were located. 3 of them are children. 3 of the victims are adults. All the victims were evacuated from the scene quickly and transported to the Crete Area Medical Center. Some of the victims have since been transferred to other medical centers for further care. All victims are believed to have non-life-threatening injuries.
Several agencies responded to the shooting on Friday afternoon. Wilbur, Dorchester, obviously Crete, and even Nebraska Game and Parks. This was a busy place as a lot of agencies were assisting Crete PD and the Nebraska State Patrol. Crete Police Chief Gary Young says the department appreciated the assistance as it's something the town isn't used to seeing.
I've been here for 38 years, and yeah, it's something that doesn't happen, fortunately, in 3 to 4 decades. So in that respect, we're fortunate, but unfortunately it happened.
Media spoke with 17-year-old Joshua Morales, who is friends with the family of the victims, particularly the son of an adult victim.
It hurts me because he's my best friend, and right now he was crying with his dad, and his mom got shot right here and 4 in the back. So I feel really bad for him, and that's my homie. So obviously, anything that happens to him, it hurts me a lot. But
now, later into the evening, authorities did remain on scene in Crete, continuing their investigation. Authorities say there has not been a motive discovered to that point. Reporting in Crete, Jake Bartecki, News Channel, Nebraska.
Meanwhile, we have new information about that tornado that hit the small community of Whitman, Nebraska last week. The National Weather Service has rated the June 25th tornado an EF3. As News Channel Nebraska previously reported, the storm injured 1 person and destroyed and damaged several homes. Grant County Sheriff Mike Rath says it's the first strong tornado to hit Grant County in more than 7 decades. Well, the federal flood levee contained the flood water as the Missouri River crested Sunday in moderate flood stages downstream of the Platte River in Plattsmouth. A post on the Atchison County Emergency Management page in Missouri did show an overtopped ag levee near Brownville on Sunday, but the federal levee wasn't overtopped. Fremont County Emergency Management in Iowa, meanwhile, reminding residents the flood warning continues through Wednesday. In a post by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers near Bartlett, Iowa, David Sobchik of the Corps said this flood is different than in 2011 and 2019.
This is kind of a combination of those two. I know we've got probably a couple hundred people in the district that a week ago, this wasn't even on their schedule, on their agenda, but because of the ability to ramp up the way we did, amazing. And it's going to bear fruit down the road in the future on our ability to flick on and off. I think a lot of people learned a lot of things, me included, on this particular flood and our ability to go from 0 to 60 and be able to respond to these kind of things.
In Plattsmouth, the Missouri River crested at 31.7 feet, just shy of the moderate flood stage. The river crested at 41 feet at Brownville, high enough to impact the Steamboat Trace Trail and boat access roads. The river crested in Rulo at 23.6 feet, impacting the cabins on the Nebraska side and shutting down the boat ramp. Fire destroyed a camper and damaged homes adjacent to it in a southeast Nebraska community late Sunday. Beatrice firefighters sent to the area of 4th and High Streets, that's north of Beatrice Middle School, just before 10 p.m. Firefighters arrived on 4th Street to see a camper ablaze and homes south and north of the unit also starting to catch fire. Firefighters had the blaze knocked down after about 15 minutes, but were at the scene for a much longer time, applying water to both homes. The camper was a pull-type unit attached to a pickup. It had been backed into a space between the two homes. Officials called for Red Cross assistance for up to 4 adults and 2 children. Safety inspection officials from the city also called to the scene. No word yet on any injuries from the blaze or on a cause. Well, AAA is predicting a record-setting Independence Day vacation period. The TSA says they're expecting more than 32 million people will travel by air. Now they're giving details on how they're handling that massive volume of travelers, especially since the crowds come amid severe weather and a mechanic strike in Canada. Amy Kiley has a look at what's in store for this holiday week.
This July 4th travel period could be record-setting. AAA's forecast covers June 29th through July 7th. It predicts more than 70 million Americans will go 50 or more miles from home during that time. That would be the most ever for this holiday. AAA expects most people to travel by vehicle, but
Come on in. Great, thank you. Have a good day.
the Transportation Security Administration says it expects to screen more than 32 million passengers from June 27th through July 8th. The agency says the summer as a whole might set a new record, and Independence Day tends to be when that travel peaks.
This summer's travel season began Memorial Day weekend and runs through Labor Day. TSA is prepared for the highest traveler volumes that our agency has ever seen.
Complicating holiday plans for some are an aircraft mechanics strike involving Canada's second largest airline. And the weather. That includes heat advisories in these states today, more flooding in New Mexico, and the 2024 Atlantic season's first hurricane.
It certainly has intensified very quickly.
For now, Hurricane Beryl is only a concern for Americans traveling abroad, but later this week,
we'll have to see if it continues to move more westward towards Mexico, maybe makes a bit of a northward turn toward Texas.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
A village in central Nebraska being looked at by the state auditor after numerous complaints were made about the clerk. The concerns revolve around outside employment and reimbursement payments made by the clerk. State Auditor Mike Foley says the concerns aren't good. He sent a letter to the chairperson of the village with the hopes it will resolve the complaint. He also emphasized the need for a formalized process for charging mileage and other expenses.
This letter is not an indictment of anybody's character or their honesty or anything like that, but is some constructive suggestions to maybe have some better business practices in place so that if somebody does raise a question, which they might, that you've got some good records to back up why you weren't in the office that day, why you were over at the school that day, and so forth.
Officials with the village of Wallace and the state auditor say they're both working to resolve the complaint. Amid public criticism, meanwhile, regarding the Cherry County Hospital and Clinic struggles to retain and recruit employees, the new CEO of the Valentine facility provided an update to county commissioners. The hospital currently hiring for several key positions, including chief financial officer and chief nursing officer, as well as nurses and techs. CEO Jim Bargan says the facility's hired an interim director of nursing to help with training and improving relations with staff. Administrators have also recently interviewed several candidates. You can find more information on the open positions by checking out this story at newschannelnebraska.com. Well, the annual Kite Festival came to Grand Island on Sunday at the Veterans Athletic Park, where professional flyers showed off their magnificent kites and gave flying lessons to kids. The event, hosted by Friends of the Parks, funded by the Greater Grand Island Community Foundation, was a free event welcoming those of all ages to bring their own kites and learn from the best. There were food vendors and kites for sale as well. The festival is held in Grand Island every summer. And a Northeast Nebraska woman celebrating a milestone and getting one of the highest civic honors in Nebraska. Luke Stera has more.
Loving and caring. That's how Catherine Brooks' 3 children describe her as she celebrates her 102nd birthday.
Of course, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. They came a long ways, and they've worked so hard to make me happy. It's great. They're good kids.
Friends and family joined Brooks in her celebration with cupcakes.
Happy birthday, dear Catherine.
And a special award that makes Brooks a member of the Great Navy of the state of Nebraska, one of the highest civic honors in the state. Being a part of the greatest generation, she's experienced events such as the Roaring '20s and the Great Depression. She says there's no secret to her 102 years, but she always stays active, even after going past the century mark.
I do a little something. I maybe a little dusting, and then for 10 minutes, then I sit for 20 minutes. And maybe I'll work 10 minutes more and have a cup of coffee, and then I might take a nap. I have no secret. Keep moving.
On her past birthdays, she's gotten the chance to ride motorcycles and had a parade for her through Woodland Park. Her children traveled from as far as Arizona and Kentucky for her past 3 birthdays and say they have all learned lessons from their mom.
I think it's to be loving and kind, because that's who Mother is. They're just giving people, they're energetic people, and I take that away.
Mother's one of the most helpful people I've ever met. She's always willing to lend a hand. And she's not afraid of getting her hands dirty, and she will help anybody. And she helps me a lot, and I love her.
A parade in Woodland Park is planned for Sunday. Reporting for News Channel Nebraska, this is Luke Stera.
And you can stay up to date with the very latest by following us online. Head to newschannelnebraska.com. Click on the News tab there. You can also follow us on X, like us on Instagram and Facebook as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day. You're watching News Channel Nebraska.